Shabbat Shalom, Hebrews. It's the Hebrew Life again. I'm Bay Jerusalem, and I'm back with another lesson. We're going to call this one the Pu'rim and the book of Esther explained. In the book of Esther, we read about Esther and Mordecai saving the Jews from slaughter because Haman had sent out a decree to kill all the Jews and all the providences of King Ahasuerus. Now we celebrate this today by having a 2-day feast from after sundown, after the Sabbath, until the next day, Sunday, we have it again. And I think that represents the 2 banquets Esther held with the king and Haman. Now, the purge comes from Haman casting the purge out, which is a form of dice or something, on the people. And what he had for us, we had stored in for us, to destroy us, ended up being his own demise. And that's how the Most High work. When you try to plot on people and plot on his people, he kind of reverse that. Whatever you want to happen to them, it happens to you. So we gonna kick this off on the story of Esther, and we're gonna read. But before I read that, I want people to know that when I read about these Persians and King Ahasuerus, all these people are not the people. This is modern day Iran. This is not the people you see in modern day Iran today. Those people are seeds of Jaffa. They either come from Turkey or they come from the seed of Madai, which is another son and grandson of Jaffa. The original Persians were black. They were from the seed of Elam, or they could have been from the seed of Abraham, the 6 sons he had by Keturah, which he seen eastward. And if you go eastward from the land of Canaan, you're going to run into Persia, you're going to run into Assyria, you're going to run into a lot of places. You're going to run into the Ur-Chaldees. And I believe these lands were originally inhabited by so-called black people or dark-skinned people. Now we're going to read this. We're going to start at Esther chapter 1. I'm going to read. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, and Ahasuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia over 120 provinces. Now King Ahasuerus had a lot of land. And I'm going to explain. He had a lot of land. He was holding a banquet. He told his wife, he had a wife named Vashti. He told her to come and to represent him, be on his arm. And she didn't want to come for some reason. And she was being disobedient as a wife. She didn't want to listen, didn't want to represent. So his consultants, his council told him, hey, you should find you a new wife. So they sought out all of these 27 provinces to find the most beautiful virgin they could find. And they came back with Esther. Now, they didn't know Esther was an Israelite. Them not knowing Esther was an Israelite and she blended in with everybody else should let people know that the original inhabitants of this land and of those lands were black people. If the original Persians was so-called Caucasian, so-called Japhites, then Esther would stick out. If she's a black girl and she's in a white kingdom, how could she blend in? How could the king not know she's an Israelite? But if the king is black and the kingdom is black itself, then that will explain why they wouldn't know Esther was an Israelite, because she blended in and looked just like everybody else. And that's what we as Israelites have been doing all through these scriptures, back to Moses and back to Joseph. We have that ability. We look like the Africans, but we're not the Africans. We can look like the dark nations, all the other dark nations, but we are a special breed of people. We're the Most High's children. Now they had a beauty pageant, a beauty competition. Esther won. Mordecai raised Esther because her father and mother died, and Mordecai was Mordecai's uncle daughter. So it was basically Mordecai's cousin, I believe. So Mordecai raised her. He told her not to tell the king that she was an Israelite. She won the competition. She became the queen. And when she became the king, they had a bank or whatever, and Mordecai saved the king's life under the table. Now, the king didn't know this until later on in the story, but Mordecai saved his life for some runts who was plotting on the king under him. We're going to read about that in 2nd Esther chapter 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat on the king's gate, in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlain, Bigthan and Therese, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. And this thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out, and therefore they both were hanged on a tree. And it was written in the book of Chronicles before the king. Remember that. It was wrote down. Esther had this documented in the book that Mordecai saved the king's life. But the king had no, he knew nothing about this. And he made Haman basically the general. Let's read about this in chapter 3. Now Haman, it says he was an Agagite. Now if you remember from 1 Samuel chapter 15, Agag, the king Agag was chopped up in pieces by Samuel. Now Agag was from the Amalekites. And we know these are seeds of Edom. This is the seed of Esau. So Haman, he shows the characteristics of being a seed of Esau, how he wants to kill the Jews with no reason and wants to wipe us all out. This is the same thing Esau sought out. This is the same thing. So we all know that he is his father's son. He had the same plan and mission as Esau. And the same, and he had shown characteristics of Hadad, who tried to get King David killed with King Saul. So Edom has always been who he is. He's always sought to kill his brother. He's always sought to kill the Israelites. Now, I'm going to read this in chapter 3. After these things, the Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hamanatha, the Agagite, and advanced him. Let's see when he put Haman in the seat, Haman thought he was the king. Now, Haman had everybody bow to him, and when he walked past Mordecai didn't bow, and he had a problem with this. Let's read about this. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did he reverence. And the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why did I transgress the king's commandments? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, and they told Haman to see whether Mordecai matters would stand, for he told them that he was a Jew. So us as Jews, Israelites, we don't bow to nobody. We only bow to the Most High and His Son, Yeshua HaMashiach. Other than that, we're not bowing to no man. And they know this. Daniel refused to listen to the king. It don't matter what circumstances we're in. We refuse to bow. We serve the Most High under all circumstances. Now, Haman had a problem with this. Haman, he sought to kill the Jews. Let's read that in verse 6 of chapter 3. And we're going to start at verse 5. When Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then Haman was full of wrath, and he sought to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai, where Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even unto the people of Mordecai. Now, this made Haman so mad he sought to kill everybody from Ethiopia to India to Persia who was Jews and were even related to Mordecai. It says, in the first month, that is the month of Nisan, the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast a pur, that is the lot before Haman, from day to day and from month to month. Now, they like they said, they cast a pur. This is where the word Purim comes from. Now I say from day to day, he was thinking about this. From month to month, he was thinking about this. And he brought it to the king, and the king said, and he promised the king money for doing this. And the king really didn't know. He didn't really pay attention to it. He was like, hey, and the king said to him, the silver is given to thee, that people also do with them that seems good to thee. So the king thought, hey, this was something good. The Jews must have did something. He didn't think much of it. Now, Esther, now when they found this out, Mordecai sent a letter to Esther saying, "Hey, you need to do something. You the queen. You need to try to persuade the king." And he let her know that, hey, don't think you gonna get away. Don't think they're gonna destroy your people and they gonna leave you alive. I'm gonna read this. This is Esther chapter 4, verse 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape the king's house more than all the Jews, for thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, and thou shalt enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place, and thou father's house shall be destroyed, and who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this. So Esther said, go tell all the Jews to fast for 3 days. You know what I mean? She was going to try to make something happen. See, we had to fast to get close to the Most High. So she had everybody fast, and she set up a 2-day feast banquet with Haman and the king. And the first time, you know what I mean, the first mean she had, it was regular. But the second mean, she used this mean to say, well, Haman is trying to kill me. She revealed to the king she was a Jew. And the king, he didn't know how to feel about it at first. Now he told her he was a Jew. He told her Haman set to kill all the people, her people, which is the Jews. And remember, the king loved her dearly. So Esther did this in a slick way on telling the king, hey, Haman is a wicked man. So the king, you know what I mean, he went to sleep. In chapter 6 it says, the king on that night, the king could not sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of the records. So the king couldn't sleep. He knew something was wrong. He said, bring the book of Chronicles, the book of records and Chronicles. And there he read about Mordecai saving his life from the 2 chamberlains who wanted to kill him. So he said, man, I got to do something. So he called Haman. He didn't know Haman hated Mordecai. So he asked Haman, what should you do for a man who saved my life, basically? And Haman thought he was talking about him, so he had all these glorious things he wanted for himself, and he didn't know these glorious things he wanted for himself was going to be given to Mordecai. Let's read that. And Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man who the king delighteth to honor? And Haman thought in his heart, the king delighted to do more to myself. He thought it was more for himself. And Haman answered and said, for a man whom the king delighted to honor, let a royal apparel be brought, and the king useth to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which setteth upon his head. And let the apparel of the horse be delivered into the hands of one of the king's most noble princes, and they may array the man withal, and the king's delight to honor, and bring him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaim him, and thus shall be done to the man whom the king delight to honor. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, and as thou hast said, do even so to Mordecai the Jew, and that sitteth at the king's gate, and let nothing fail of all things thou hast spoken. And now you know Haman was broken up after this. So they had to mean Haman heated now. He know it's over with. He ain't even heated no more. He's scared now. Now Esther told on him at the meeting, and he was trying to beg her to help him. Now let's read this. And the king arising from the banquet of wine, because it was a banquet of wine, because the king liked to drink. And Haman had fallen upon the bed whether Esther was on, and said, the king. Now he was trying to beg for his life. Now the king thought that he was trying to come up on Esther. So the same gallows he had built for Mordecai to be hung on. You see the gallows in the movie where they hang the people on. The king said that he should be hung on it. And he was hung on it. And if you read in Esther chapter 8, this feast day is explained. I'm gonna read it. It says, in the 12th month, that is the dawn, the 13th day, the king commanded a decree. Well, we basically made this a day. We made this a day to celebrate. It's called the Pu'rim, and we should have a 2-day feast. This is the Hebrew Life. I'm Base Jerusalem. Shalom, people.